Hello students, continuing on our nightstand work. Last time we completed our face frame with the Craig system, the Craig screws, and we talked about we've also got plugs. You can make your own plugs or you can buy plugs to fill those holes. That's on the back side, right? So we wouldn't see any of that. Got pretty nice joints, nice and tight face frame. Today we're going to focus on building our rails and stiles vertical for the sides, right? The two sides. So we've got two top rails which are 2 inches wide, the two bottom ones are 3 inches wide, and then we've got 4 stiles that are 2 inches wide. Also today, being there's a lot of members that are 2 inches wide, I'm going to do the webs. We've got 2 webs, one here underneath the drawer and then one underneath the top to connect the top 2 with screws, and then this one supports our drawer, and then both of those tie our project together. Then at the bottom they're tied together by our solid plywood 3/4 inch thick bottom. Okay, so that's where we're going today. As usual, I've got my board laid out here. Okay, 97 inches long, and I've got 2 of them about the same size. So we got to calculate our board feet. Repetition, right? You guys have done this many times. Before I'll let you cut up a board, I've got to know how many board feet you got, right? So it's quantity times thickness times width times length. We've got one board here that we're calculating the board feet. Thickness is 1, the width 5.5, and the length was 97 inches. So if we're in inches, we divide by 144. If the last number's in feet, you would divide by 12, but it comes out to be 3.71 board feet, and this one would be the same, 3.71 board feet. Once you've got that done, the next thing you're going to do is flip it over and you're going to lay out your parts. So I was sharing earlier, I've got my side panel stiles here. I've got the side panel top rail, bottom rail. And I did that because one is 3, one is 2, and I've got enough to get them. But if I try to do bottom and bottom, I don't have enough width, so it worked out well. I want to utilize the board to the max, right? As little waste as possible. Then I've got a frame web, okay? Yeah, and I need 2 of those webs. So there are 4 stiles and 4 rails. So I've got them laid out here as well. All right, so my board's laid out. Once you get it laid out and approved by me, then students, what's our next step? You should know by now, being you've been through it multiple times. We're ready to cut. If I've approved your board, and I may not approve it if you aren't utilizing it to the max, because that wood is expensive, right? Let me get our stop block out of the way here. All right, vents open. We are ready to cut to rough length. I've got my finish length written down on each one, right? Finish length. The rough is an extra inch, so my marks, I added an inch for those. Here we go. Yeah, a lot of times if we can, we don't use that last inch because there could be checks or splits in there. That's a pretty solid one. All right, let's get those carried over. And I got a couple more parts in the other. I'm going to separate them and do my 3-inch ones first. So there's the 3. These are 2. There's a 3. And a 2. And 2. Let's get our other board cut up real quick. And we'll start ripping. So we are cross-cutting on the radial arm saw. Then we'll rip on the table saw. All right, and I'll put this over with my other wood for the rest of the project. When you guys bring your board to me, I'm going to check your measurements. I'll see your finish width, make sure it's the same as that the plan says, and then I'll measure to make sure you've got your added extra inch, because we still have to rip them apart, plane them, surface sand them, and then cut them to finish size, right? So these are 2-inch parts, 2-inch parts, 2-inch parts. All right, so I need a 3-inch part out of each of these. We'll go to 3 inches here. I'm gonna add a little bit, right, for joining. And measure twice, cut once. Looks good. Here we go, we are ripping. Straightest edge against the fence normally. We haven't jointed anything, but that's ripped pretty straight. And this one still needs to be cut at 2. Let's see how much we got left. Yep, plenty. That'll work. Matter of fact, it doesn't need ripped again until after we plane and surface sand it. Left hand push stick against in front of the guard. Right hand pushes it through. All right, everything else is 2 inches. Go with the straightest edges against the fence. All right, we'll start with our longest one. How's that? So I want to be rough size, right? Finish size is 2, so rough. I'm gonna go about 2 1/4 here. Yeah, I've got plenty. So I could go even 2 1/2. Okay, ripping our other parts, rails and stiles. Looking for defects. Put it in my scrap. keep things clear. I'm unloading the scrap from the back, keeping my fingers 6 inches from the blade. All right, lots of parts. Not too sure about this one. This may be setup parts, being as we got some defects. Okay, what's the next step? Let's get our card over here because we have so many parts. We don't need to glue up, right? Because all of these are narrow pieces, no wider than 3, so we don't need to glue anything up. So we are ready to plane and surface sand, and then ready for our